Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Lucia from Doc City, and I will be the presenter today for this webinar organized in partnership with emlyon Business School to present you the Master in Science in Luxury Management and Marketing, live from Paris and the world of capital luxury. So thank you very much for being here with us. You will find right here below on the Zoom menu, the chat box. You can start saying where you're connecting from, and you can say hi. And you will also find a Q&A box where you can start putting your questions. So from now on throughout the whole presentation, and our speakers tonight will be more than happy to answer them all. Tonight with us or today with us, it depends where you're watching us from. We have this fantastic panel, Florence Rollet from emlyon Business School. She's the director of the Master in Science in Luxury Management and Marketing. Also Nelly Piola, she's a program advisor. Emma Labouli, she's a current student. She's a current student. And Salome Berguet, she's also a current student of this Master of Science in Luxury Management and Marketing. Thank you very much for being here with us. We expect to have so many people from so many different countries. So if you want to start saying hello and telling us where you're connecting from on the chat, I will be more than happy to read you all. My name is Lucia from Doc City, and I'm very pleased to present this webinar that we have organized in partnership with emlyon Business School to discover the Master of Science in Luxury Management and Marketing. As I was saying, we have a luxury panel tonight with us, Florence Rollet, the director of the Masters, and we also have Nelly Piola, who is a program advisor, Emma Labouli, she's a current student, and also Salome Berguet, who is also a current student of this Master of Science in Luxury Management and Marketing of emlyon Business School. As I was saying before, you will find right here below on the Zoom menu, the chat box. You can start leaving your greetings, saying hi, telling us where you're connecting from. We'll be more than happy to read you all. And you will also find the Q&A box where you can write all your questions. You can start from now. During the whole presentation, we will be more than happy to read you and to answer all your questions at the end of the presentation. The questions about the program itself, about the admissions, and also our students tonight will tell us all about the life of a student at emlyon Business School, particularly in this Master of Science in Luxury Management and Marketing. So bear with us just for a couple of minutes. And we will start with the presentation. We are expecting people from all around the world. We know that the times are very different from you all. So just bear with us for a couple of minutes, and we will start the presentation. My name is Lucia from Doc City. I'm the presenter tonight. This event is organized in partnership with emlyon Business Schools, and our speakers tonight are Florence Rollet, the director of the Master of Science in Luxury Management and Marketing, Nelly Piola, the program advisor, and we have Emma Labouli and Salome Berguet, who are both current students of this Master of Science in Luxury Management and Marketing. As I said before, but I see new people coming in. You will find right here below the chat box where you can leave your greetings. You can tell us where you're connecting from. And you will also find a Q&A box where you could put your questions, and we will answer them all at the end of the presentation. So now, without further ado, I will just leave the floor to our luxury panel tonight. I think Florence will start. So to everyone, enjoy the presentation.
Well, hello, first of all, and I'm really delighted to be with you all. I suggest that we start with a quick presentation of our program, and I will, of course, be at your disposal for any question that you might have. First of all, just to recap on the participants that we have here today. I am the program director, and actually I'm coming from the luxury industry. I was the president of Tiffany in Europe, Middle East, India, and Africa, and I was also European Development Director for Christian Dior quite a number of years. But I am very privileged tonight to be assisted by Nelly Piola, who is the program advisor for our luxury management and marketing program that can answer all questions related to admission process. And we are very delighted to be able today to have with us two graduates or future graduates. So Emma Labouli, who graduated a few weeks ago and is a junior sales coordinator at Ralph Lauren in Paris at the moment. And we also have Salome Berg, who will soon be graduated from the program in the coming weeks and is currently doing a Hermes internship, being the digital content project manager. So we are all of us here to give you all sorts of insight and information. What I would like to share in a nutshell is the program structure. So I'm not gonna enter, don't worry, in all the details, but in a nutshell, from September to December, all the students of the cohort are based in the Paris campus of emlyon, and they have a lot of projects and group works to manage from Paris. And of course, Paris is also offering a huge amount of opportunities to discover luxury retail, luxury experiences, and understand the main skills of the brand's DNA in this environment. From January to March, we have 3 different destinations for our students. The first one, and we are going to speak of that a little more in detail, we have Parsons School of Design in New York for some part of the students. For some others, it is London College of Fashion in London. And it can also be in Rome, in Italy, the Louis Business School. We are going to enter more in detail in a minute on these different tracks. But I would like also to mention that the 3rd semester from April to July is taking place in Australia, in Perth University, the University of Curtin, which is the discovery of Oceania and Asia, with very specific classes that are really to the edge of neuromarketing science. Then all students have to work in an internship between 4 to 6 months in the luxury industry. And they also have to write their professional thesis. And then when they have accomplished all these steps, they can be graduated from the program. So that's the global overview of the program. As you can see, multinational, and all the students are coming from all around the globe. We have in general 120 students coming from 30, 35, 40 different nationalities. So it's a tremendous opportunity to have a global networking. Then what I would like to do now is to enter more in detail the different tracks in the semester 2, which is Rome, New York City, or London. Rome is the Louis Business School, which is ranked number 7 for fashion and luxury management programs. This is the ranking of EdUniversal 2022. It's located in the northwest corner of Rome, near the, the famous Villa Ada Savoia Park. You get tremendous insights and lectures from professional experts of the Italian luxury industry, which is really very powerful, as we all know. You learn from local industry experts via seminars, group works, field trips. So you are really immersed in the luxury environment of Rome and of the Italian brands. And then you will develop your skills and build the first professional experience via multiple group works, multiple missions that will confront you to the reality of the luxury industry. So definitely a very attractive option for people passionate about Italian luxury. Then we have amazing options that are offered to our students on top of Rome. So we have New York City, the Parsons School of Design. I'm just gonna say that this is #1 art and design school in the USA, ranked among the best school in the world in its category, located on Fifth Avenue, very close to Washington Square. But in order to speak of it, I will ask Emma to give us, some insight of what she experienced during these 3 months in New York and what she considers are striking moments, let's say. Emma, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So hello, everyone. I'm gonna graduate actually end of 2023, like this summer. But last year I had the chance to go to New York for the second term of the program. So it's only 3 months, but it's really intense and you get to learn a lot. So basically it's not only about fashion, it's more a global view and overarching view of the luxury industry and more on the design side. But in New York, we're not allowed to go. Most students go to London, but in New York, it's like a very small group. So the classes are in a very limited group of students. We're split in 2. So every class is like 12 to 15 students, I would say. And we only have 3 classes during the week. So it's really intense. You can really go in depth. And because of the size of the class and because of the frequency of the class, you have big projects. You don't have a lot of courses, but the projects are bigger. So yeah, I got the opportunity to work with experts from the luxury industry. There's a lot of networking going on. And this, I would say, is the most interesting part about going to New York. And really the one that I think is the most striking is that you are given a lot of opportunities to make a network in the US. There's a lot of guest speakers. The teachers they don't work in the luxury industry, but they have interesting backgrounds. They know people from the luxury industry. And also we had the opportunity to work with real actual luxury companies and to make actual work for them. So it wasn't only theory, it was very practical and applied to reality. And so this part of networking and getting to know people in the luxury industry was very striking.
Thank you, Emma. We appreciate your insight. And so then we reviewed Lewis Business School in Roma, Parsons School of Design in New York City. Then we go to the third option for semester 2, which is the London College of Fashion. So there again, London College ranks best fashion school in the world. This is the ranking CEO World 2022. Amazing destination. Actually, it's at the moment located close to Oxford Street, but from September on, the full College of Fashion is gonna move to the Olympic Village location to Stratford, and they will have an amazing environment for the students. So brand new, totally designed, tailor-made for students. Which makes it a very attractive destination also. But in order to speak of the content, of the insight, of the experiences, I would really love Salome to speak of what she experienced, the way she lived, the content of the classes, the insights, the contribution of the professors to her understanding of the courses. Salome, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So hello, everyone. I had the amazing opportunity to join the London College of Fashion last January, which was the best experience for me in this master degree. So yeah, we were located in Oxford Circus, so near every big fashion houses, which was really great because we had a lot of interactive courses, such as, for example, visual merchandising. Which allowed us to go with teachers on the flagships and understand how they were working. So it was really interesting. So a lot of the teachers were professional experts, so they were working at the same time that they were teaching. So we had a great insight in the industry, but as well as a theoretical part. So we had a good balance between the theory and the practical side. For example, we had the class was divided in two, or the morning classes or the afternoon classes, which allowed us to have big classrooms with all of the students, but as well as smaller ones, which allowed us to have a really good interaction with the teachers. And we had a lot of, as in New York, group projects, but as well as individual ones. For example, we had a class that I really loved, which was start your own fashion label. So the purpose of this class was to really, from January to end of March, create your own fashion brand, which was super interesting because our teacher was someone who created her own brand. So we had a really good insight on how it worked. Which is a personal project. So it's really interesting to see how you can manage to start your own fashion company. It's really great. We also had a lot of industry experts coming every week, including people from AI, which is really trending at the moment, the metaverse, and a lot of stuff like that. So the future of fashion, which is quite interesting because we don't have usually access to this kind of information. So it was really great to have the opportunity to talk, to exchange our doubts about maybe the metaverse and the AI. We also had virtual companies coming in. So for example, DressX, we had someone who was working there was a previous student at London College of Fashion, and she explained us how she would see the industry in a couple of years' time, which was interesting to see someone coming from the industry of AI, how it's exploding. So yeah, the courses were really interesting. We had also London the Brand class, which allowed us to visit around London with two teachers, and we saw they taught us what was the impact of the London city in the fashion industry. So many streets, many stores, the impact they had on this big industry. So London College of Fashion is really oriented towards fashion. So if you love fashion, you will be exalted to join this school, which is really great because we have teachers that are amazing, that work in the industry, and you really have the balance between theoretical class and practice. So it's really well balanced. It's not only classes in the classroom where the teachers speak. It's really a balance between both of them, and really intense group projects that we had to hand in every week with different groups, because we didn't choose our classmates. So it's allowed us to work with different people from around the world and discover what the culture is like. So it's really interesting to see how everyone works and the insight or their taste in the fashion industry. So it's really complete course that is intense in 3 months, but you learn a lot and you learn so much about the fashion industry. You think you know everything about the fashion industry, and in London College of Fashion you learn even more. So it's a really amazing opportunity.
Thank you, Salome. As you can see, Salome and Emma are completely passionate, and I think you can see that they really enjoyed their experience. And of course, Roma students are also absolutely enthusiastic also, definitely. Thank you, Salome and Emma, for your testimonial. I'm gonna just recap what are the key pillars of this Master of Science. Of course, step 1 is to master the industry-specific understanding that future employers like LVMH, Richemont, Kering seek when they hire managers. We are working with the best companies in luxury of the world, and I can tell you that Hermes, Chanel, Dior, Balenciaga, etc., are connected to the MSc on a regular basis, and they offer a lot of internship. We also have L'Oreal, We have all the perfume and cosmetic luxury part of the famous brands, the fashion. We have even young students that are going to Maserati, Porsche, Lamborghini. So we are really recognized as a very powerful master of science when it comes to big companies interested in recruiting people that have skills. So definitely, emlyon Business School is very famous worldwide for its expertise in entrepreneurship. And we try to develop this approach with our students during the 3 semesters. And of course, being a cohort of 120 students from all around the globe, mixing approximately 35 to 40 different nationalities, is also a perfect exercise to make students understand the power of the luxury brand strategies that are global. So it's definitely a fantastic program. I can say it very clearly. And of course, we get a lot of employability rate, because generally when we do surveys, we have 96% of our students that are working 6 months after they get their diploma. Then on the side of accessing this Master of Science, the lady in charge, who is very precious to us, is Nelly Piola. So Nelly, as you can see, you have here the coordinates of Nelly, but I'm sure that you can get them later from Doc City. Nelly will now take the mic in order to speak of the application process. Just have to wave your hand when you want me to.
Okay.
So Nelly, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Florence. So hi, everyone. So I am the program advisor for that MSc. So any question you might have about the program or the application process, please don't hesitate to come to me. So we're just going to take a few steps to explain the whole application process. The first one is, so everything is done online. So when you submit your application, you can do it directly from a website. You will need to create your own Makers Board session and be able to upload all of the documentation needed. Once your application file will be confirmed as complete, you will be invited to take all digital tests. So everything is done remotely. You don't need to come, to our premises. And so once you would have completed them, your application file and your digital test will be reviewed by our examination board. So you can see the details on where to create your online accounts, as well as the main mandatory documents to upload to submit your application. So we find as well a full recap on our website on the mandatory and optional documents. So I just would like to highlight some any management tests, such as TAJMAJ, GMAT, English tests, or reference letter are part of the optional documents. Obviously, if you have them, it's a plus, but it's not mandatory to apply for our MSc. However, as the MSc starts in English, via our own digital tests, we will be assessing your English proficiency. And then when you will be taking the online test, we just ask you to be in a very, if I can say, quiet place with a good internet connection, and make sure to be professional dressed, as some of the questions will be recorded with the webcam. So with regard to the main soft skills, which will be abilities, which will be reviewed via and assessed via our own digital test, will be your professional soft skills, analysis abilities, motivation, English proficiency, and how your profile and career project fits with the program. So through our own digital tests, we have 5 main parts. The 2 first one will be like fictive situation in a professional environment to evaluate your soft skills and your problem solving skills. So you will have the interactive meetings, and you will be receiving as well messages from your colleagues via different communication channels. So the third part will be the cognitive tests. So anything to do with dominoes and ball sortings. So you will have a trial to familiarize yourself with the tests, and then you will need to complete it in a limited amount of time. The fourth part will be MCQ on the luxury industry, just to have an idea about your main knowledge about the industry. So any, I would say, current topics, challenges, for example, or any news within the luxury industry, to have an idea again of your main knowledge about the industry. And so as well as the last part will be the motivation question, written and verbally answered. So that will be then reviewed through the via the examination board, so your application file and your digital tests. And once your online results will be available, you will receive an email advising you to connect to your Makers Board session. Once you will have your results, if you are admitted in your program, you will have then 10 calendar days to complete the enrollment process, which will be to fill in your enrollment form and complete the first payments in order to secure your seat in the program. So just to let you know, we have 9 admission sessions throughout the year. We are currently going through the 6th one, and the deadline will be on the 2nd of May to submit your application file. With regards to the scholarships, we do have 3 available with emlyon Business School. Unfortunately, the early bird scholarships is not available anymore because it's for applicants who will be applying in between November, well, until November to December. We have 2 different phases. However, you are still entitled to apply for an individual and excellence scholarship. If you'd like to apply for the individual one, please do not forget to fill in the individual scholarship form available on the Makers Board session. Then you will need to submit at the same time as your application, as this will be reviewed by our examination board at the same time as your application. And the other one will be the excellence scholarship according to your management test results.
And that was it for our presentation. I understand that we have some questions, and I think, Lucia, you're the one that is driving us throughout these questions.
Yes, I will. I'm very enthusiastic because I see that we already have quite a lot of questions. Thank you very much for all our participants for your interest, and thank you very much to our outstanding panel tonight for such a nice presentation. So we will go through all of this. Of course, if some other question comes up, you're always in time to put them on the Q&A box, and we will read them through without a problem. Okay, so here it says, is it expensive to study there? Well, it will depend on the path you take. Maybe Salome and Emma separately can talk about their experience of living cost as a student in emlyon and their different visualizations.
So in Paris, I think it's the cheaper one that living in London. For me, London was kind of expensive. The living cost is not that much compared to Paris, but the most difficult thing is, since you only move to London 3 months, is finding a place to stay. And generally you take Airbnb, which can be quite expensive, but otherwise living in Paris, I think you can find some good prices for living locations. But in London, for sure, is kind of more expensive, but the living cost for example, going out or going to restaurants and having drinks, it's the same as in Paris. So if you kind of know the living cost in Paris is quite the same. The only thing that changes is the accommodation.
Oh, okay. So you find that in London was harder to find accommodation than in Paris?
Yeah,
because typically there's this idea that Paris is very difficult regarding accommodation, but instead you say that London is even
yeah, I found it harder to find a place to stay in London than in Paris.
Oh, okay.
I talk about my
Paris can be uneasy, I must say. So yeah, I mean, accommodation is definitely everywhere a challenge these days. I think it's, global. So of course, as a program of students, it is impacting our students. I'm sure that Emma is going to give a testimonial that New York is awfully expensive. And I can tell you that it became even more this year because of inflation that has impacted the entire world. But we have had no students that was left alone. So the majority of students are, putting themselves by a group of 6 or 4, and they find a flat where they can be all together in order to find a proper way to accommodate themselves properly, let's say.
Of course, and also as an international student, this gives another nice experience and the chance to get to know other fellow international students.
Yeah.
Of course, thank you, Florence and Salome. Emma, what would you like to tell us about this?
Yeah, if I may add, this was something that I was really scared about because, of course, New York is like super expensive. I was very nervous about finding a place to stay, but I did team up with 2 of my classmates and we found a Airbnb, but it was in Brooklyn, it wasn't in Manhattan, but it was very nice, super cheap. It was only like $750 a month. It was an amazing deal. Like it was cheaper than Paris. So of course you have to go further. It's not the center, but it was only 1 metro and we were in the center of the city. Going to school was super easy. So if you're nervous about the living cost, I wouldn't be so nervous because there's always options and you can always team up with people you from the cohort. And in my case, it was people I didn't really know, but in the end it went super well. And it's nice when you move abroad because you don't know anyone, so living with people that share the program with you, you have similar interests. It can really help you not to feel very homesick, I would say. But of course in New York the living cost is very expensive, especially for going out and so on, to dinner, to lunch. It's very expensive, but you can find a way to get ahead and do with it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We never had any issue with students that could not join the program because of accommodation. So it is something to consider in the budget indeed, but it shouldn't be perceived as something traumatic because everybody up to now found a solution to spend the semester in their respective destination.
Okay. Thank you very much, Florence. Anyway, Emma, if I can comment on your experience, I would say that such a nice deal for living in Manhattan was not bad at all. I bet you had quite a nice experience with your accommodation too. I don't know if Nelly would like to add something to this item, or you find that
the admission, so she is not.
No, of course, but maybe she received experience of some students or things like that. So,
no, to be honest, accommodation is something that you need to keep in your budget. It has to be planned by anticipation because this is not cheap. But everybody up to now, among the 120 students we welcome every year, has always found a way to be absolutely operating in their respective semesters. And the same applies to Australia, where everybody is now leaving to Australia for April, May, June. And we supported the students with the University of Curtin to make sure that we would give them advice and addresses and connection to websites. And everybody has their visa and their accommodation also for the 3rd semester.
okay, thank you very much. So this assistance you were talking about takes me to another question I saw right here in the bottom. Yes, it is. So what kind of student services does emlyon offers to the master's students?
Okay, so I'm going to leave, of course, Emma and Salome speak, but the students are offered a full career coaching during their 3 semesters and later on during their emlyon experience. So they've got a coach, a career coach that they can call when they need in order to exchange on how to apply to an internship, how to draft a resume, how to introduce myself to a future employer, what type of career should I do, etc. So they have this. There is the international student affairs department that can support and answer questions related to French visa, you know, all sorts of questions that foreigners that are not French based can ask because they are a little lost in our administration. And of course, we try to support our students when they need on career advice, on coaching them for their master dissertation. We allow a supervisor for each student going through the essay and the writing of the master dissertation. So there are plenty of supports, but maybe Emma or Salome, I don't know if one of you would like to take the mic to comment upon this and maybe speak of your own experience.
Well, I can do it. Regarding the career coach, I think this is really an added value of the program because it's something I resorted a lot to. And when you're in the beginning, you don't use it that much. You have classes about how to build your resume, your letter, LinkedIn, and so on. But as I was looking for an internship, networking in New York, I had to work more on my resume. It was more, I needed it more. It was more like real time and I needed it. So it was super easy. I just booked an appointment with the coach and there's several of them, there's a lot of them. And so you can have a different point of view on your resume if you want to change coaches. And they also do tests. I did one test that was personality wise, and it allows you to kind of decipher and to identify what areas of your personality you can put forward and you can bring to the table. So I would say the coaches are a really great added value and resource of the school.
Salome, you had something to add to that as a testimonial?
No, I had also the chance to have a coach that followed me during my internship research, which was really great because the day before I had an interview, I always call the coach and kind of explain, she kind of explained to me what kind of questions they may ask and how was I supposed to answer thanks to my profile and stuff like that. So it's quite interesting to have an insight before doing an interview of experts that kind of know what the interviewee will ask and what they expect from a candidate, which was really helpful when I did the interview. In fact, the questions were the ones that the coach had said to me that I may have. So I became a pro in interview thanks to the coaches we had in Limited. It was really easy to have an interview with a coach. You just book the day before, 2 days in advance, and you always have a slot available. So it's really helpful for the research of an internship.
Thank you, Salome. And I also would like to add that generally around October, November, we organize what we call luxury recruitment weeks. So we welcome at the campus in Paris, every day at lunchtime, a very famous brand of luxury that is coming to speak to the Master of Science student. So this year, for example, in November, we had Chanel day one, Christian Dior, we had a private visit of the flagship of Avenue Montaigne. We had Richemont coming, we had Kenzo, we had plenty of recruiters that are really extremely interested in connecting to the students because they know that they fit to the expectations of these recruiters. So the student can get in touch, can connect, can ask questions. The recruiters come and they spend 2 hours in the auditorium with the students, presenting the company, presenting the opportunities of internship, answering questions. And then, of course, everybody is free to get in touch with the HR department. And this is also a very strong asset of this master, which is definitely extremely well evaluated by our recruiters.
Okay, thank you very much to all of you for this thorough answer. Now we'll go on with all the questions we have. There is another about that is related, let's say, about student services. It says, do we get support during our studies?
I would say that the students may answer this question. Of course, I mean, of course, the students have the responsibility to get the visa when they need to go to the US or they need to go to London, because now London is not anymore a European country. But we have the support of Parson for the full process and the support of London College of Fashion in order to facilitate the various process of acquisition of a visa. And up to now, you might face exceptionally some students that cannot access the visa. It happens once in a while, but 99% of the time, everything is ending well. So yes, we do our best, but of course the students need to be professional also, need to supply their documents on time with a proper passport, the proper document justifications, etc. We are not here to take their hands and do the things for them. We are here to help in case there is an issue. So we rely on the professional behaviors of our students that need to demonstrate maturity in the way they build their own career.
Okay, thank you very much. So just to link with the Florence answer, Nelly, I wanted to ask you, because this is something that we always discuss a lot in our webinars when we were talking about international universities with international students. How long in advance would you advise to our prospect students to start getting information about the application process, or when is a good time to start the application process for an international student?
So as I was saying earlier, we have 9 admission sessions throughout the year. So we say the earlier, the better, because we don't have a quota per session. It really depends on the profile of the students. So once the program is full, then we need to close the application. So that's why I would say the earlier, again, the better, in order to guarantee a seat into the program. And as well, if the students need to apply for a visa to come to France to study in Paris, then I would say as well, in order to start to get their visa application, moving, and to be sure they will have it on time. So if they apply to emlyon Business School and they are non-EU nationals, they don't have to worry. They will have the international office. We'll get in touch with them and we'll support them with any questions they might have with the visa process.
Sorry, my microphone was on. Thank you very much. That answers another question that I was asking about the differences for non-Europe nationals. So thank you very much for that. There's another question for Nelly is, can we have Nelly's email for a private consultation? Is there any email where our students can write to ask about their personal cases?
Yes, so I can write it in the, probably in the discussion, in the chat, but basically that will be my family name at em-lyon.com. So I'm just going to write it in the text box for you to be able to join me. And if you would like to book a phone appointment, you can do so through our MSc webpage. You will find my contact details and you will have the ability to book a phone appointment, and you can see my calendar and choose a slot which will be the most convenient for you.
Okay, perfect. So in that way, any special cases, personal cases can be reviewed with a particular focus. So we still have so many questions to be answered. Okay, here there's one. Is there a limit in the number?
Lucia, can I interrupt you? Sorry, just to mention that English is a must. So when we have candidates that are really hesitating on answering a question on video or written with a weak English level, it's not gonna pass the selection. So I think it's really important for people to understand that English must be fluent because the program is taught fully in English. From
Okay.
September till June, this is English everywhere. So it is very important that people understand this as a prerequisite to any selection. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, don't worry, because this also leads me to another question that is asking about the language level required. You're talking about a fluent level of English, but there's any kind of certificate or a specific level the candidates must have?
No, but the committee, which is reviewing all the candidates' files, will have access to 3 to 4 questions where the candidate needs to answer by writing, and 4 videos where the candidates will answer in front of the video, in front of the camera. So that means that we have the capability to select or to not select people that we don't understand, to be very clear. So no, there is not an obligation for a specific exam, but there is the obligation to be understood and to be able to express yourself properly with sufficient vocabulary and skills in order to interface with professors, with other students, in group works, with company visits, etc. So you need to understand English.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Florence. So, okay, here's another question. What's the ideal candidate for this master?
Look, we are looking for people that are graduated with 4 years after, you know, what we call baccalaureate, so postgraduate. We have people that are coming from multiple horizons. We really have the philosophy to welcome people that are passionate about luxury, that have a project. It can be to create their own fashion label. It can be to work for the big maison. It can be to work in supply chain, in the legal department. It can be to work in the perfume and cosmetic industry. We are really making it a philosophy to recruit multiple profiles. So regularly, we take people from legal, graduation, or we even had 1 or 2 pharmacists or gemologists. We have the will to create a very enriching environment for the students. Sorry. So maybe Emma and Salome, you want to give your testimonial around the networking that you created with your classmates?
Yeah, I had a lot of different type of colleagues in my class. I had someone from legal department, but someone as well from economics and someone from fashion. So we really had a broad type of profiles, which is quite interesting to work with on a daily basis. So I don't think like they said before that you have to have a type of profile, but it's really around the luxury industry. So if you're passionate about it and you know how to explain your passion towards this industry, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I also, there's a lot of people from very different backgrounds. There's also engineers. But also when you work with people as part of group work, you don't always know, and someday they say it and you realize that we all come from different horizons. So it brings a lot of diversity to the program, not only in terms of nationality, but also in terms of point of view, of the way of targeting a problem, of solving a problem. It's really what makes the program so interesting.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your 2 cents on this. We have another question here. Is there a limit in the number of admitted students per program?
Of course, yeah. And we are already fulfilling quite well the program. We have still open seats, but You know that the luxury industry is growing at double digit since COVID occurred. So the industry is moving in a fast-paced growth tremendously all around the globe. Recently, I was speaking with an Indian student of our cohort that is now advising Richemont for potential development in India, because of course there are new territories that are appearing on the luxury industry globally. So our cohort is not developing at the same speed, but definitely we get a lot of requests from all around the globe. And we are spending a lot of time on selecting these candidates. So still open seats for the September 23 cohort, indeed, but fast pace of fulfillment, let's say, with Nelly.
Okay, thank you very much. Nelly, do you have something to add? Okay.
Great.
Okay, thank
Just
you very
know
much.
it's the same set, saying Florence, like the earlier you apply, the better, in order to give you time.
Okay, thank you. So another question about the student's background, the student profile we were talking about before. And we have a student that is asking if it is necessary to have or mandatory to have a luxury background to access the master.
No, as I said earlier, you can come from multiple backgrounds. Still, the only thing that we appreciate when we review candidates' applications is when people demonstrate that they have shown some interest or some knowledge. But no, you don't need to come from an internship in Chanel, or of course, if you have, it's a plus. But we take a lot of people that have not such a good understanding of the industry, and we are teaching them the skills and the competencies in order to be able to comply with the expectations of these recruiters.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for clarifying that. Okay, browsing through the questions. Okay, here we have one. Is it possible to do more than an internship with this master?
Look, the program, to get the diploma, you need to do a 4 to 6 months internship with what we call a specific legal agreement called Convention Collective of emlyon. So we cannot deliver more than one Convention Collective because it's by law forbidden for us to give more than one. But of course, if you want to do additional limited duration contract or replacement of maternity leave or specific contract, you are absolutely free to do so. It will not be considered as another internship for your diplomation because the track for us, it's the 3 semesters plus 4 to 6 months internship in a luxury maison and a mission that we validate as a luxury mission, and the master dissertation. Everything you do on top will be very positive for your resume and will demonstrate to recruiters that you are passionate and that you want to acquire expertise, but this is really your own decision.
Okay, this is good to know. Thank you very much. Okay, another question here, is it necessary to have a background in business to apply? I guess the answer is the same one as the one about luxury. We discussed already a lot about the ideal candidate or the candidate profile. Another question here says, can you tell me more about the curriculum of the program? Do we get to customize it?
Look, I don't know exactly what means customize the program. The first semester takes place in Paris campus, and you have huge amount of work, and generally that's the most intense semester for the students, where they are really taking vitamin at the end of December because they have a lot of group works. They have to create a luxury company from scratch as a group in order to demonstrate their entrepreneurial skills on top of all the classes that they have to take. Then, according to their profile and to their ambition in the luxury industry, they will be going either to London, either to Rome, or to Parsons School of Design. And there is an established program and a calendar that everybody has to follow. And same apply to Australia. All sessions are planned and the calendar is totally prepared and set so that you can get all the knowledge that you need in order then to be having your diploma further after your internship with the proper skills. But you don't get to choose an option or not an option. I can tell you, you can ask these two ladies, the calendar is already extremely full and you have no time to do anything more than work on the courses. I suppose these ladies will confirm what I say.
Yes, it's true. It's kind of intense between the first semester in Paris, which is quite intense in terms of courses. I think it's the hardest one. To be honest, is the most intense one. We had a lot of work, a lot of exams and group projects. And then moving to London or New York, we also had an intense experience because since it's 3 months only, we have to learn a lot in a small amount of time. And the last one is intense in terms of courses, but also you have to have time to do interviews for your internships. And then on beginning of July, you start working as well. So it kind of goes really quickly. And I don't think you have time to work besides going to classes and having to work on the projects that you have to give at the end of the semester. So yeah, I think you can do it, but you won't sleep. I think so. It's up to you.
Well, maybe for some people, sleeping could be optional. Well, we wouldn't advise it, but always is people's choice. So about internships and working, are there any internships opportunities? Of course, Laurence already said that there's one which is a mandatory. But what I wanted to add as a question is, do they include also companies outside of France?
You can do your internship anywhere in the world. So it's not a matter of taking an internship in France. If you want to work for Chanel in the USA, or if you want to work for Richemont in India, as long as the mission fits with the program expectation, as long as it is 4 to 6 months, it is absolutely valid. Mm-hmm. France is absolutely not the only destination of our students for their internship, by far. We have plenty of students that are doing internship elsewhere.
Okay.
So Chinese people, for example, they can absolutely work in Dior, China for their internship. It's absolutely valid as long as the mission fits with the luxury program. Okay. And I've never faced any issue with someone not finding a proper internship fitting with the expectation of our diploma.
Okay, thank you very much. So here it says, is it necessary to make a separate application to be considered for a scholarship or financial aid?
Nelly, this is for you.
No, it's not. So as I was saying earlier, so emlyon Business School has 3 scholarships available. And basically, when you apply for the program, you apply usually for the early bird and the individual one. So the early bird is gone for this year for the 2023 intake, as you had to apply before the 10th or 8th of December. However, the individual and the excellence one are still available. For the individual one, applicants will need to fill in the individual scholarship forms available on the online application when they will be applying. So please don't forget to submit it at the same time as your application, and it will be reviewed by our examination board at the same time as your application file. If you ask for it after it, unfortunately, will be too late. However, for the Excellence Scholarship, if at the time of your application, you haven't taken the TAJMAJ or the GMAT tests, then you don't have to worry about it. You can submit, you can forward us your results by July latest. Again, taking a management test is not part of the mandatory document for your application. However, it can entitle you to have the Excellence Scholarship, which is a 5 to 10% reduction of the tuition fees according to the results. Then again, I can send you the school results needed by email if you contact me.
Okay, always remember that Nelly has kindly put her email address in the chat box, so if you want to, you can just copy it and paste it on your email app or on your notepad. So we still have so many questions. We're arriving to the end, but we'll do our best to answer them all. Okay, here's an interesting question. How does this program differ from similar ones in another universities?
I will be very honest. I don't think anybody can compete with this program. Going to the best schools in the world, like Parsons School of Design or London College of Fashion, is absolutely unique. That's a unique portfolio of partners. I'm sure that the other programs are fantastic, but they do not have the same philosophy. So our philosophy is to make sure that our students have a proper understanding of luxury and entrepreneurial skills, and that they are able to fit either in Asia, Oceania, US, or Europe, having understood cultural diversity, having understood the challenges that the luxury industry is facing, and being able to fit and to adapt. Working with partners like Louis Business School, Parsons School of Design, and also Australia, where there is a laboratory in Curtin University, the only place in the world where there is a laboratory of research applied to luxury. So they are able to teach neurosciences and neuromarketing applied to luxury. This is unique. I've never heard anywhere else such a content. So honestly, I'm very jealous to be the head of this program and not to be a student, because I would love to do this program. I think it's an amazing program, and with a very, very high level of recognition of the luxury maison. And to be honest, I don't know so many programs that have such a level of recognition and partnerships. And when you see 120 students internship list and the destination of their, the companies where they work for internship, you have the list of the most famous brands in the world for the luxury. You see Salomé in Hermès, you have Chanel, you have Dior, you have all the big names are partnering with us. I'm not sure it is everywhere the same, but of course, the other programs are absolutely great, and I am not at all saying that they are not good.
Yes, of course, if you have the biggest brands in the field by your side, it must be for a reason, and it's always a pleasure to have a program presented for such a passionate professionals who are being part of it. Thank you very much for that. We also see the students are very proud to be students or former students of emlyon Business School, and they are very happy with their experience as well. So we still have some questions. If our speakers agree, we will try to answer them all. Here is a quick one. Does the program include language courses?
So there is French courses on semester 1 for non-French speaking students that would be interested in developing their skills in French. It is clear that for people that are interested in getting an internship in France, it is quite valuable to be able to speak French. So we give this opportunity with live session of classes, but we also give the opportunity for all students to access a language platform online throughout our system, which allows them to take lessons of Chinese or whatever language they feel they would like to get some knowledge. But we give French lessons, live sessions in Paris from September to December.
Okay, okay, that's very interesting as well, especially for who's aiming to have an international careers. Language are key to enter in a culture. So do the courses include, you talked about the group projects or teamworks, but do they include working on real case studies?
Ladies, you want to give your testimonial on real case studies? Emma, you want to?
Mm-hmm. So I would say, especially in New York, it was really striking because we got to work with a luxury startup. So it was really amazing experience because we got to go to the headquarters, visit the premises, everything, meet with the CEO. She did a presentation, and then she gave us a problem that was, or something she wanted to work on for her company. And we had to work on it for most of the term, and in the end presented to her. So it was to the CEO of the company. And I believe she has applied a lot of the solutions we provided in real life. I think she used a lot of them. And for her, it was really valuable, and she was really happy to work with us. And also for us, it was really, for me, it was the first time I had to really use my skills and what we had learned before, especially during the Paris term, to a real life case scenario. So yeah, the program really does include real life case study.
Okay, thank you very much, Emma, for this interesting testimonial. Then for the last questions, okay, so we, Florence talked before about the luxury professionals that arrived to emlyon, the recruiters, Salome and Emma talked about the networking. So here these questions ask about what kind of faculty and the industry experts do the students get to access to during the program?
Well, you know, I think I already covered all these topics. We have some professors are including a lot of luxury professionals in their classes. I'm thinking of the supply chain courses where you have multiple luxury speakers coming directly from the big names. You have also some people that are giving testimonials in the auditorium to demonstrate their experience. Generally, as I said, we have this luxury recruitment week where we have multiple recruiters coming and generally also bringing some emlyon graduates from their own company to give some testimonials. So and of course, career coaching are helping students to get in touch then in order to negotiate an internship, a contract, whatever. So we are really connected to the luxury maison, definitely, at a lot of steps. And each professor is also generally involving testimonials from luxury professionals. And as you could see from Emma a few minutes ago, you can also work as a consultant on specific case. And it's the same in London College of Fashion. It's the same in Lewis. And in Australia, they will have a hackathon, which means that a big luxury maison settled in Australia, I don't know if it's Tiffany or if it's Chanel or Dior or whomever or Armani, will come and brief all the cohort in order to settle, you know, a problematic that they are facing. And then all the students will be dispatched in groups of 5, 6, and they will have to work on the topic and present their own solution. So you are systematically involved in real life. And of course, the internship is the best way to be immersed in the reality of a luxury company. When you work for Cartier, for Van Cleef, for Chanel, for Dior, for Hermes, for Ralph Lauren, you are fully immersed in the reality of these brands. And this is part of the diplomation process.
Okay, thank you, Florence. We could, for the last minutes of this presentation, just go through how much does the course cost and about how many years does it last?
Nelly, you want to take over? The course lasts September to June, including Paris, London or Rome or New York, and then Australia, plus 4 to 6 months internship, plus a master dissertation that you have to write and to introduce to a jury. So it's a 16 to 18 months program, let's say. And for the cost, Nelly, you want to take over?
So the cost of the program for the full 18 months is 34,000 euros. However, it does include the tuition fees of the university you will be going to the second and third semesters. Plus, you will have access to 2 important services which offers emlyon, which will be access to our career services or career center, which is helping you as well. You know, once you will be graduated from the program, you will have their support if you need any help with regard to workshop on how to improve your employability, and as well they do organize career forums as well. For example, in January, we had the 3 days careers forum on our Lyon campus, where we had more than 180 companies who came, and students had the opportunities to come present themselves, and which follow up with some job offers or internship offers, depending on, you know, which state of the program you are in. The other one, which is kind of important, is the alumni network, which is quite significant. We have more than 38,000 alumni around the world in more than 130 countries. The network is, we do have an alumni team, which is from time to time organizing events. For example, 2 weeks ago, I was in Madrid and we organized an alumni event with our alumni which were in Madrid, which was a great opportunity, for networking. And as well, you never know, you know, in your life, you want to, you know, you're going through you would like to change career or change job, then you can still use that network and have that network support as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So here's an interesting question. What's the average salary I can aspire in France after this master? Maybe the answer is not that easy because there's a variety of jobs you can.
Yeah, it's quite difficult according to what you did before. You know, we have multiple options, but I would say that generally there is a fork between 36 to 40,000 euros per year. I'm speaking generally. Of course, if you have a double diploma and you are a pharmacist or something more, of course, it can vary. So you have to be very cautious with this figure. But this is what I would say is the approximate fork of salary.
I see. And here's another interesting question. What is the biggest challenge for someone looking for a job in this field?
Look, I think everybody has its own way of defining its ambition. That will depend if you are willing to stay in a specific place, in a specific job, in a specific company. It's very difficult for me to say what is the challenge, to be honest. As I said, 96% of our students are working 6 months after they get their diploma. So that's what I can say. Then, of course, if you want to work only in Chanel, only in Dubai, and only in the marketing digital department, it might take a little more time because they might not wait for you. So it's, you know, I mean, then it's your own value, your own way of selling yourself. And once again, the luxury industry at the moment is growing tremendously. And people are with talents are needed all around the globe. Then it's a matter of matching the need and your skills.
Of course, thank you. And the last question that we have, I saved it for the last. To the students, Salome and Emma, if you could go back, would you still choose this program? Why or why not?
Well, honestly, I thought about this question before I was invited to this webinar, and this is something that I really reflected on. And before getting accepted to this program, I was accepted to another program that was similar, but not really. And I realized now that I did this program, I realized that it was really the best in terms of, especially in terms of school, of partners, because the program I was accepted to before emlyon was gonna send me to a university in North Carolina, which has nothing to do with luxury. It was a luxury program, but I mean, it's not the same on a resume. Like going to New York or London or Rome is much more credible if you want to work in the industry. And also if you want to network, like networking in New York is unique, and it's really the city in the US where every specialist of the luxury industry is, and all the big offices are in New York. If anywhere in the US, there's not a lot in the US, but it's in New York, and definitely not in North Carolina. So the program, besides the curriculum that is really amazing and provided me with valuable insights about the industry, is really recognized. And when I go to interviews, I feel confident because I can say that I went to Parsons and people actually know what it is, whereas going to some smaller university. So yeah, I would do it again.
Okay, thank you, Emma. Salome, what would you like to comment on this?
Yeah, I agree. I will also would like to start to be a student again in September. I won't choose any other master degree because I think it's really complete in terms of classes, but also partnerships. I love my experience in London, and in fact, I want to work more in the fashion industry. And when I talk to fashion experts, they all know London College of Fashion because it's the first fashion school in the world. So it's a real a plus in your CV, but as well as emlyon as a school itself has also a great reputation in France, but also abroad. So I think the combination of the partnerships plus the recognition of emlyon enables to have great experiences and meet a lot of experts of the industry. So I think it's a good combination to have the chance to go abroad with amazing partners such as Louis Business School or Parsons and London, and it allows us to have great opportunities in the luxury industry. So as I said before, I worked at Hermes, and working and being a student at emlyon, and having the chance to have an experience in London College of Fashion, I think did the difference in my CV and my profile. I felt the difference before doing the masters, and afterwards it was really more easy for me to find an internship than it was before. So I think it's thanks to their partner and emlyon itself.
I see. Thank you very much for your answers. I can see that Florence and Nelly are very happy about what you both said. It's really, as I said before, it's really a pleasure to have a program presented by such passionate and happy people who have worked on it. So we have finally finished with our questions. The webinar took a little bit longer than what expected, but we had so many interesting questions. Okay, we have a last one. Is the marketing of the course similar to digital? Would you do community managers work with? Okay. Is the marketing of the course similar to digital? Who do community managers work with?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Yeah, well, it's a little tricky the way it's, I think, is asking that if the marketing that has been in the program of the curriculum is similar to what community managers do, I guess.
I think maybe it's comparing because I think emlyon also have MSc in digital things. So maybe he's asking if the marketing is the same in the luxury management marketing that is in the digital one, I guess.
No, Salome. Every Master of Science has its specific course and calendar and professors and syllabi. We don't merge any program altogether. This is not, mashed potatoes. We are very selective in the way we build our programs. Emlyon is among the best schools in the world, and we need to keep quality as a must, whatever we do. So we spend huge amount of time on building properly partnerships, always articulated around key learnings for students. And we try to do it in order to make sure that our students develop themselves and their career in the proper and the most successful way. That's what is driving our philosophy.
Okay, thank you very much. So now maybe we can call it a wrap. I don't know if there's anything else that you would like to add before we close.
Look, I think that we try to cover, and we are very privileged to have the testimonials of Emma and Salome tonight that I want to thank. And of course, Nelly is there to answer all questions. She is the best touch point to answer all things related to the accessibility of the master.
Okay, thank you very much. So I just remind you that you will find on the chat Nelly's email address. If you want to do a private consultation about admissions, you can send her an email, and you can also set up an interview in order to see in detail your situation. So I would like to thank you very much, everyone, to be here with us and to remain until the end. And thank to our luxurious panel that we had tonight, Florence, Nelly, Salome, and Emma. It was also a pleasure to have people as passionate as you are, and also, as Florence says before, is so much, is really precious to have the opportunity to have student testimonials that can talk this much and as well about this program. So to our participants, also, if you would like to request a certificate of attendance issued by Doxity, you can send an email to webinar@doxity.com. Put in the webinar you're referring to, your first and last name and email address you used to register to this event. So I would like to thank you again for being here with us tonight. And we will hope to see you again very soon in the next webinars organized by Doxity in partnership with emlyon Business. Have a nice evening.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.